Who else did I stagger? I staggered somebody else. I forget who it was.
The God of War? Before you took his helmet?
No, that wasn't me. That was Harley.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then I took the helmet.
Oh, yeah, that was me.
No, it was before you were Harley.
Oh.
Yeah. I have to recap it just for you, apparently.
Dude, we've been having a lot of campaigns. All right, anyway.
I don't know.
Let's go ahead and start this for you guys. Hello and welcome to Comicstorian Weekly, the weekly show that we talk about comic books that came out this week. Andy is back. Andy, how are you doing?
Fantastic, Dan. Thanks for asking.
All right, let's go ahead and jump on in because we are on a little bit of a time schedule. Batman Black and White #3 came out this week.
Didn't read it.
Didn't notice until later. I hoped
didn't
you
either.
had, but I guess neither of us noticed. And did you see the Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn? #5?
I did.
But you did not read it.
I didn't read it, no.
Okay.
Keep going.
This is a great start. Great start.
All the Batman books, we didn't read them.
All right, well, let's jump into the fun stuff. Future State, starting off with Superman, House of L, #1, which is great because this takes place after the Superman War World.
That is true.
Which I don't believe has fully finished yet.
It has not.
So that made a lot of confusion in this issue because it's basically a bunch of people from Warworld that have now essentially been adopted by the House of L.
Yes.
It's in the future, they're getting attacked, and they have to make their last stand.
This one was, and as far as I know, this is a one-off because I think at the end it said like the end. I actually enjoyed this one.
Did you?
I thought this called back to like DC's like they used to do in the 90s these really crazy annuals where it would be one issue and it would be like it'd be almost like a what if or an Elseworlds kind of thing, and it'd be like in the far future or some alternate reality. And that's kind of how this felt to me. It was just like, the various offspring of the House of L who apparently now have a base on the moon
Or inductees or something, because some of them are not related at all.
And they're fighting against, spoiler alert, the actual like direct descendant of Superman.
One of,
yes.
They made, was it just me or did the facial hair of Superman kind of look a little like Asian all of a sudden? I don't know. I didn't
really notice
It gave me, I don't know. I don't know what it was about it, but it for some reason it caught me off guard with the way that his facial hair looked compared to what we usually get with
him.
It was the mustache.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I actually enjoyed this one. I thought this was a fun what-off kind of annual Elseworlds what-if story. All of these descendants of Superman, or indirectly or whatever, muddled the bloodline kind of thing. Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was. We
also got Black Racer.
You got Black Racer in there, who's apparently working for the Red King, who is actually the descendant of Superman. Who like has the power or controls Apocalypse
and the
now.
mustache. It threw me off.
I could see the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mustache is a little weird. Honestly, if you want just a fun kind of Elseworldsy style Superman story, I'd say this is a good one.
All right. I think personally, because we have to read so many, I think where my concern or what kind of took away from it was that I was constantly like, okay, where is this?
See, and that has been my major problem with Future State as a whole. But like I said, if you just take this as a one issue, don't worry about Future State. Don't worry about continuity.
It's a Future State Superman annual.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
And if you ignore all of that and just take the story for how it is, I think it's a fun story.
All right.
If you're trying to figure out where the hell does this fit,
because a lot of these, when I am reading them, because I'm reading all of them, I'm like,
wait, where does this
what,
go?
What should I keep in mind? Which one was it? And it wasn't until they were like, no, he freed us from Warworld. And I'm okay, now it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that might have made me have a better opinion of it because I couldn't focus as much because I was trying to figure it out. But anyway, that is Future State, Superman, House of L #1. You have Andy's seal of approval, which is saying something because he's not a fan of Future State.
No, he's not.
Next up, we've got Future State, Batman, Superman #2. This one basically, the benefit of this one is it at least kind of explains the lead up towards the Magistrate this version of Gotham
didn't just show up
and why
like,
Superman didn't
punch
show
someone
up.
real fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But besides that, it wasn't really
It's kind of a dull
very
story.
special.
Yeah, honestly. Like if you take out the magistrate part, this is just a normal Batman Superman story, and not even a very good one. Not in the sense that it's
not
bad.
super interesting.
Not interesting. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's not a bad story in and of itself. It's just kind of the same old thing.
Yeah.
And that was my complaint with it.
All right.
I just like the fact. Also, it doesn't make the actual timeline of this particular comic doesn't make any sense because Professor Pig gets a hold of Superman, and then suddenly there are pigeons and rats and bats with Superman eyes around the city.
That
like
one
in the span of like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that one I was like, where did he get?
Yeah,
like maybe I missed something in the previous issue.
I don't know. Yeah.
But anyway,
not a fan.
Oh, actually, you know what? I bet it's because in the previous issue, Mr. Toad got him. And he must have done something before he took him to
maybe. I don't know.
Pig.
It didn't work very well for me. Yeah. Nah.
It was
a very
meh
okay. issue.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Future State Legion of Superheroes #2. I'm going to assume you didn't read this one. This one, the art still, it's okay. It grew on me a little bit.
Like fungus.
Sure, like fungus.
Fungus, yeah.
But I think my disconnect and lack of knowledge on the Legion of Superheroes did not make this as interesting for me.
Fair enough.
That being said, I think if you are a fan of the Legion of Superheroes, you might enjoy this because it was interesting and it caught me off guard. But once again, I think that there was some intricacies or little like bits and pieces between the characters that would have made more sense if I knew who it was.
Gotcha.
But I mean,
I just like I had the mental image of you being interested, but like caught off guard by it, like, oh my god, I'm so interested all of a sudden.
I'm so interested and caught off guard.
Caught off guard by how interested I am in this comic all of a sudden.
Next up, we got Future State Suicide Squad #2.
Ugh,
I felt like this
story sucked.
It was not great, but at least I'm glad with how it ended. Spoiler, I kind of want to spoil it just because the way it ended is kind of the only interesting part.
Yeah, I guess kind of.
Then we got Connor was sent to Earth 3, and he's now the Superman of Earth 3, which I like because it's like he finally gets to be Superman and not just he's the clone of Superman. He's the clone of Lex Luthor. He's the one that the other super people are like, nah, you're a clone. I don't trust you. But
I guess the ending wasn't bad, but the actual comic sucked.
It wasn't what I had hoped.
Yeah,
from a Suicide Squad book. So
to me, it seemed like they were just like, hey, we got a bunch of people coming out in the new movie. Put them in a Future State book. Yeah. Yeah. And then it had the backup of Black Adam.
Oh, yeah, which also
kind of ended meh. Like, the first issue was really good, and then the second issue was just kind of like, okay. Like, even Gold Beetle, the descendant of,
I thought that was hilarious.
Descendants of Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, which in and of itself is a really cool idea. Completely wasted.
Yeah.
And then the actual ending itself.
It'll be... The way that they presented that character at least gave it the potential of showing up in other stories. Yeah. And I think it would be kind of cool to see that.
That would be cool. That there are some good ideas in Future State. Mm-hmm. The problem is, as a whole, Future State is not good.
Yes. And I will say it's kind of interesting to go, hey, this is Future State. This is a time traveler.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it a future version, not the ones that can still travel in time.
Anyway, move past it.
Next up, we've got Future State Superman vs. Imperious Lex, #2.
I didn't like the first one, so I didn't read this one.
This was just, it was once again kind of meh.
No.
It was just a classic. They help Lex. Lex learns he doesn't need help. Kicks him away. And then Superman's kind of petty and screws with Lex.
That's what I would do.
I mean, the way that he does do this, it would 100% be what
like
you would
if
do.
I had superpowers, I would just screw with my villains all the time. Just like set off their car alarm, like mess with them.
Well, Imperious, like Lex gets, he's like, oh my gosh, this is the most valuable thing. I don't want to have to share it with the rest of the planets.
Sure.
And he's like, I'm fine. I'm not in this. I'm by myself. Superman's like, I made it and gave it to people for free. Suck it, Lex.
Loser.
If you enjoyed the first one, you will enjoy this one.
Fair enough.
But this one will not change your mind.
Gotcha.
So
I'm glad I didn't read it.
Next up, we've got Future State Aquaman #2. I love this.
I actually like this.
Aquaman, I'm really excited.
This is another one that they should do like a full-blown, like just Andy alone in the, what is it called?
The Confluence.
The Confluence for 5 years. That alone could have been an awesome series.
I would have read that.
Yeah.
I like her. I like how her power set is similar to Aquaman, but it's not
different.
the same.
Yeah, but it is different. It makes you can tell an interesting story with the character.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's different in the sense of because they do reveal it in the last issue. Instead of calling and talking to fish, sea life,
she
and like asking them exactly, she controls them, and it is an interesting difference that is small but still has a big impact.
Yeah, and I actually would read a series of Jackson and
100%.
Andy. I think that would be a fun.
I would love to actually. I really hope they continue this to show her and Jackson getting back to Earth.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Because I believe this ends with them still in the Confluence.
It does, yeah.
So I would.
He
love
mentions
that.
how like you have to do this sort of thing to even be considered for the Justice League again. Yeah. But we know in the future that she does join the Justice League, so it'd be funny to see if this does like
how this leads into that. That would be cool because Andy as Aqualass.
Yeah,
love that.
I also really like the Glimmerfish. The Glimmerfish are annoyingly funny.
Yes,
that's probably the best way to put it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would strongly recommend picking.
I would too. Of the Future State books, the 2 issues of Aquaman were actually really good.
You know, I'll say in general, Aquaman often gets pushed to the side. People
I actually think he's really,
his stories are probably the most consistently
especially
good.
these days.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, obviously Aquaman was kind of a joke. His stories were kind of meh.
But these
I
days
honestly think since the New 52, Aquaman has been pretty solid. Yeah.
Like I read it and I go,
it's a pretty good
I'm
book.
interested.
Yeah, that's a good book.
I'm interested. So next up, we've got Future State Dark Detective #4. This is one of the Future State ones that doesn't end, and it goes into the actual detective comic stories, which this one makes sense because it actually was pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, like the idea, and I'm actually kind of glad they're going forward with it because the idea of a street level Batman who now has to like relearn how to be a street level Batman against a police state is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Like that they should have done more with, and I'm glad they are going to do a little bit more with it. Yeah.
I find it interesting. This is going to continue into Detective Comics and not stay as a Future State Dark Detective because of the fact that despite Future State ending, we're getting a Future State Gotham book. Yeah. So it's not like actually ending. So why not keep this so that you go, okay, it is still in the same timeline.
Yeah.
But I mean, then again, we also don't know what direction she's going to go in. When it is in Detective Comics, if it's going to be the same, if it's going to be
the same kind of idea but different.
So we'll find out. But this one, I would say,
it's pretty solid. Yeah. And the backup of Red Hood as the masked bounty hunter.
Yep,
it was pretty interesting too. Yeah.
I believe that is the continuation that's going into Future State Gotham because Red Hood is on the cover of that with the same outfit.
Yeah.
Next up, one I don't believe either of us read, Generations Forged #1.
This is the time travel one, right?
Yes.
The $10 one?
Yes.
No, I did read this. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I actually really like this. There was 2 issues. It doesn't seem like they're going any farther with it. The other one was Shattered.
Generation Shattered.
Thank you. So at the end of Generation Shattered, the team of time traveling champions were separated into various times and various groups. So this issue, which it's like 80 something pages, I think.
It's about
close
80.
to like 90. I think.
When I first saw it and I looked at the art, my first thought was, it's a reprint kind of story. That's why I skipped over it until later.
It is an old school kind of story.
Yeah.
Which is actually one of the reasons I enjoyed it. I felt it was very much akin to like the original Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
That type of story. Because you got heroes from various times and dimensions and whatnot. They all have to come together to fight the big evil, which is, I believe his name is Dominus, who has been messing with time.
Yeah.
I don't want to like spoil anything. That's the broad strokes of the 2 issues. This one sees them all having to come back together.
Okay.
So they have to kind of fight their way out of the times they've been scattered into and come back together and fight Dominus. If you like old school, like 70s and 80s, Crisis on Infinite Earth and things like that, this is the book for you.
All right.
Yeah. It's probably not for everybody because it is very an old school style. It's storytelling in a style of comic book, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
All right. Next up, and the last for our DC portion for today is another Future State comic that's pseudo getting continued, not fully. The Next Batman, Second Son #1. This is part of
the
a
digital
first.
Yes, yeah.
This one seems to be the lead up as to how he showed up to came back and why he became Batman.
Yeah.
I mean,
the first issue is okay. It's him in the military or something like that.
Yeah.
My only problem with that, the idea of Tim Fox becoming the next Batman isn't a bad idea. And hopefully they'll show us the reasons he did it and the reasons will be good. The only problem with that is the actual next Batman comic wasn't particularly interesting because it was just him helping random people on the street. And running from...
It was just a story of... His Future State comic was essentially the story of... This is a Batman who still wants to protect, but has no problem throwing some people under the bus if required.
Sure, yeah.
And does not mind giving people grenades and stuff.
Yeah, not a great plan.
Especially when they just try to kill you.
Yeah. His book wasn't bad. It just wasn't super interesting at the same time. So hopefully they can do more with the character. This first issue in and of itself it's okay. It doesn't really grab me, but... I know enough about the character to go, I'll give it a shot, kind of thing.
Okay. Moving on to the Marvel portion for today, starting off with Amazing Spider-Man #60. This one is kind of an epilogue to the Kindred story arc and the prologue to whatever's coming next, because this is pretty much an entire issue of Peter confessing to Kindred / Harry Osborn without actually confessing to him. Mary Jane takes him to an empty theater, says that this was a therapy thing that she did, and she wants him to pretend like Kindred is in front of him and that he's talking to him.
Okay.
So it was very talk heavy. Honestly, it feels like one that you don't fully need.
Right.
But it does lead into, first off, connecting the Mary Jane story, because it does refer to Mysterio and the fact that Mary Jane worked with him and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But this did feel very much like okay, we need to wrap up some loose ends from the Kindred storyline so that we can
move on,
leave it for now and come back to it later when we get bored with our other ideas. So
fair enough.
That's Amazing Spider-Man #60. Next up, we've got Black Cat #3. This is a part of the Black Cat King in Black story arc. Previously, Black Cat grabbed a hold of a shard of Yggdrasil, basically became a god.
For a little bit, yeah.
Which was awesome. Did you read this one?
I read it because Ben wants me to write a script on it.
It was actually pretty...
I haven't read the previous 2 issues. Is the only thing. So I was like, I caught up. That was fine. The actual issue of itself was pretty good.
Yeah,
like to see her kind of her inner struggle.
Yeah.
With, I guess the physical manifestation of Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Or the dark wild magic.
Yeah, version. Yeah.
But I did like that he starts tempting her with the standard evil, powerful, tempting people, and then like kind of crosses the line and she's like, hell no, I would never do.
Yeah.
I really like this one, actually. I think if you like Black Cat, you'll enjoy this series.
It was a pretty good issue, yeah.
I believe neither of us read it, but Black Panther #23 came out this week.
I did not read it, no.
Captain Marvel #26 came out this week. This is still the Kelly Thompson story. That was Captain Marvel in the future fighting against the son of Namor and Enchantress.
Oh, yes.
And this one, it ends in a way that the character is probably going to be used again, as well as slightly altering Carol's powers and what causes them.
Sure.
Or what amplifies them, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I can kind of spoil that because in the previous one, the future Thor basically charges her up with the Thor force.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way of saying it.
His daughter
then,
proved worthy.
Yeah. And then she turns she turns into like a Phoenix style Captain Marvel. But I mean, it was a good conclusion. I thought it wrapped up very well, gave a good amount of action, good story, ends in a way that is not just your happy-go-lucky ending.
Right.
And will actually be used in the future. And I think that's something I always kind of like when that happens, when they're like, hey, here's a story. We're going to probably use it again because it was interesting. But you don't have to worry about it right now because of the way that they do wrap it up. So if you have been reading Captain Marvel, definitely continue with this one. Moving on to the next comic for today on Marvel. And I'm definitely not stretching this out to scroll through the books to see which one it was, because there it is, King in Black Namor number 4. It was okay. It's still in the him in the past. If you haven't been following it, or if you did not like it, this is not going to grab you. It's just a continuation of the story.
It just seems like the whole point of this is just to show those heroes that went dark that he then used to help fight the King of Black, which I feel like you could have done in one issue. I don't know why they're stretching it out as much as they are. Yeah, this could have
easily been a King in Black Namor annual
one-shot kind of thing.
I think Namor has got to be used in something soon. Is he getting a movie or something? Or a show?
Not to my knowledge.
Because he's been showing up so much more.
It's possible they're planning on it, because I know they kind of like, supposedly in Endgame, they kind of like hinted at possible Namor.
You know what? I wonder if this is going to be related to the conclusion of WandaVision and the fact that we're likely going to be getting mutants soon, and they're trying to reestablish him as the first mutant.
It's possible. Yeah.
So
I don't know, but he has been popping up in a lot lately.
He has. Yeah. And this is his second solo book, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's
okay.
King in Black, Return of the Valkyries, number 3. This one I thought was kind of cool.
I'm enjoying this one just because I like the Valkyries and I like Jason Aaron's Thor run.
Yeah.
In its various forms. Yeah, I mean, it's not like mind blowing, but it's fun, and the fact that it's sort of like half related to King in Black. It seems like they pick and choose when they want to be related to King in Black.
This one seems like the kind of tie-in that likely won't be mentioned or matter.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. But I enjoy the Valkyries, so overall I have enjoyed it. Yeah.
I thought this one was a solid
But if you're not like a Jason Aaron fan or not like his Thor kind of fan, then you probably won't like it, and you probably can skip it.
Next up, we've got Maestro, Warren Pax, number 2. Last time Dr. Doom showed up, and this is basically the issue of explaining who
Dr. Doom is.
Explaining the group of people that are going to try and kill Maestro this time.
Okay. It never works out for them.
No.
I don't know why anyone tries.
But I actually do like the Maestro stuff, because in the first story arc, they explain that Maestro is not as powerful as the Hulk because he is consciously aware of the fact that he is Banner. And that prevents him from getting as angry as he possibly could. That's how Hercules beat the crap out of him, but he had to use that intelligence to
it's one of those things, yeah.
And I actually like that aspect to it, because it's just an more interesting way of going, this is the Hulk that's smart, as opposed to this is the Hulk and Banner. Kind of thing. So next up, we've got Magnificent Miss Marvel number 18. Honestly, I read this one and my first thought was, did I miss something? Because it felt kind of out of place. This is a celebration of 75 issues of Miss Marvel.
Oh, nice. Good for her.
It continues with, like, we have Amulet shows up, another of the superheroes in this area, as well as the evil version of her suit, the Storm Ranger, which originally I thought was really cool until they turned it into a villain, and I'm like, you could have used that for so much longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nothing special really. If you like Ms. Marvel, you might enjoy it. This one was not as heavily focused on the Kamala's Law, which I like because I'm tired of the teen civil war, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, that was Ms. Marvel.
I like the idea of teen civil war.
I know. I mean, that's essentially what
Marvel,
it is.
Well, because you have to have Miss Marvel versus Riri. Because obviously Captain Marvel versus Iron Man. So you would have Miss Marvel versus Riri and be like, maybe at the flagpole after school, we're going to have ourselves a little teenage civil war. That's how I would say it.
She's like, yeah, I'm bringing the government. Wait, what?
Wait, whoa. Yeah, the principal. It's the government in this teenage civil war.
I wish that was the case as opposed to the actual government. But anyway, that's beside the point. Next up, we've got Symbiote Spider-Man, King in Black #4. I thought this was weird because I don't get why King in Black / Null is in the Symbiote Spider-Man universe.
The actual issue of it itself was okay. Now he's in Nowhere with Rocket Raccoon.
We get and which was
the troll.
A character that was very clearly in this because of WandaVision. The Captain Marvel, Monica
she just
Rambeau.
shows up and she's like, I'm here too.
I'm Monica Rambeau. I'm Captain Marvel.
Definitely not appearing in a show right now. I love it when things appear in movies and shows and then Marvel or DC just shoehorn them real hard into whatever they're doing.
They're like, it's basically, I mean, I'll be honest. It's basically like YouTube where something happens and everyone's like, jump on the bandwagon.
Just jump on the bandwagon fast. Quick before it passes us. On the bandwagon.
It wasn't terrible.
No, it was all right.
But I thought it was weird that they're doing it as a King in Black tie-in because it's making me go, I wonder where it's going to... I mean, it makes sense because it is symbiote related.
Right.
But the fact that it's in an alternate universe, or at least I thought it was, that's what makes me go, why? But
yeah, the Symbiote Spider-Man series started off real strong in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
But they're trying to do... I feel like they're almost trying to do too much with it. They're trying to go too out there with it at this point.
The classic problem of we did really well, keep going and drain it.
Yeah, pretty much. Just until it's just beat the shit out of this.
It's the classic like TV show conundrum where it's like, first season was amazing. We had a perfect ending. Oh, wait.
Let's
like
keep
it
going.
made a lot of money?
Yeah, keep going.
All right,
keep
I
going.
guess we'll
do it again.
Screw with them?
Yeah, why not? It was Agatha all along.
Next up, we've got U.S.Agent #3. Nothing special. Was kind of fun, though.
Yeah, well, and the reason they're doing this book is because U.S.Agent is in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which comes out next month.
Which they even, you could tell that once again they're referring to that because they're even like, remember when you were called Bucky? To your Captain America? And it's just like, yeah. But anyway, if you've been enjoying it, you will enjoy it. If you haven't, this isn't going to grab you. Next up, we got the Union, the Union #3, which is essentially U.S.Agent #3, but into the UK.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I like this one because it felt like we were actually getting a story as opposed to we did something. Oh, there's an event. Try and make it work. No, this was kind of a great example of you should have just done a story and ignored the big events. Yeah. Because, I mean, this one, some of the twists, I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Well, the thing is, too, it's like Excalibur, which was the old, like, UK mutant team.
Right.
Mutant-ish. I think they had some non-mutants on it. But anyway, Excalibur was the old UK team. Fun stories, great team. Then they moved on to, I think it was it wasn't MI6. It was like MI13 or something like that, which was like the superhero wing of the British government. Fun team, great stories. It's like just do a new fun team and great stories.
Yeah,
like
I mean, because the characters they've got,
the characters are interesting.
Yeah, I was like, I would read this,
especially the idea that they all come from different parts of the UK. They don't all like each other. Very much.
Like you can see,
you can have fun with that.
Yeah. It was
like there are times you just want to grab a Marvel editor or a writer and just be like, stop it. Just do a good story. Like you don't need to, all right, keep going.
Anyway, on to the next story this week. Wolverine number 10.
I like Maverick. Big fan of Maverick.
Cool. I've never been introduced to the character before, but this
he had a series
was
in the 90s that I have the first issue of somewhere.
Of course you do. I mean, with a name like Maverick, it's got to be the 90s.
He was a member of Team X. He could he sort of had Bishop's power, where if you hit him, he could redirect the energy. Yeah. Which I don't think he has that power anymore for some reason.
No, they explain it in this.
Yeah, he's lost it or something.
He goes, Wolverine's
when they go to Krakoa,
can you do more? Like, you used to be able to get shot by a bullet and then punch with the power of a bullet.
Yeah.
But you can tell that there is something up with him, because he's like, we can fix you. And he's like, nah, I'm fine with where I am. But this one was just a fight issue setting up for what's coming next. Nothing insane.
Nothing crazy. I hope they do more with the character, because I do like him.
I think it's got potential.
He's got his own merc team.
Exactly. Yeah. I like the aspect of basically a kind of a pseudo version of Wolverine that's not a part of Krakoa.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones are a part of Krakoa.
Yeah. Speaking of.
Yes. X-Men number 18.
We finally get back to
the vault.
To Wolverine.
Darwin
and
Sync?
Sure.
I believe it is, because we've got Darwin, who can adjust and adapt. Wolverine who that can kill people, and live through a lot of things. And then we have Sync, who
is a
copies their powers.
Yeah, he's a backup, apparently.
He's basically Rogue.
The issue was okay, but it's been so long since we've done this, and it's like we're gonna do this one issue, and then we're gonna go back to doing other things again.
Yeah.
Still, my main issue with the current X-Men comic.
You can kind of tell this one. It started. I don't know if it was intended. Well, it was intended. It's Jonathan Hickman. I have a feeling the purpose of the vault was to take out the secondary Wolverine, as well as the guy that adapts to things and the one that absorbs powers, because those would conflict and complicate X of Swords.
I can see that.
Because if you have a guy that could copy the powers of the Araco people, or if you have another version of Wolverine, or there's just a lot about it that's like, I can kind of see why they would get rid of them for that purpose. But like you said, it's been so long. There was some of it that I'm like, I don't fully remember. But at least they just started off. This is 18.
18, because I think, didn't they throw in the vault around issue 5 or 6 or something like that? Yeah.
It was quite a while ago. Yeah. But I do like that they at least, they just start with, they're in the vault. Boom.
Yeah, right into the story.
We're not doing what I was worried about of the.
They're gonna come out of the vault, and this is how it happened.
The come out, the more we've been in the vault for 17 years. This is what's going on. No, I'm glad I get to see this as soon as they went in. Yeah. So, I mean, it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable.
It wasn't terrible.
I complain about the fact that they haven't gone to this in a while, but I think they came back to it, and they did a good job of making me go, all right, you got me again.
What they should have done was Laura goes in there, learns magic, becomes Weapon Hex.
You have no idea how happy that would make me. It would be so amazing.
Would have been so cool.
Oh, so cool. But anyway, that is the conclusion to the Marvel portion and the podcast, Comicstorian Weekly. Don't stop making fun of me. Son of a bitch.
So anyway,
if you want to support this podcast, you can subscribe here at twitch.tv/Comicstorian, where we record it live every Thursday at roughly 2 p.m. Eastern. You can also support us over on Patreon at patreon.com/Comicstorian. $2 give you access to this podcast and much more. And if you want to find more of Andy, he's on Instagram at @4IamTheAndy. If you want to find more of me, I'm on Twitch at Cyloo91, CYLOO91. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. We'll catch you next time. Oh, also, G Fuel, code comics at checkout.
Yeah.
See you guys.